Hi, this is Joseph Williams, son of John Williams, and you are watching the Nerf Herder Council.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. I am your host, JT. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We are live at those three locations every other Wednesday at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch video replays of the show on our YouTube channel. You can also download any of the 6+ years worth of episodes in audio format pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts. And of course, we are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. And if you would like to get customizable Nerf Herder Council swag, just go to shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. And a quick reminder, if you are watching on YouTube, do not forget to click that like and subscribe button so you get notified every time we go live, either with a regular episode like this or with one of our special WTF Friday episodes. Let me bring on AJ and Steve. How's it going, guys?
What up?
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty damn good, man. So, obviously tonight we are getting into our favorite or best movie sequels, because we kind of were talking a little bit about that on the last episode and said, what the hell, let's see if we can come up with some good movie sequels here. But before we get to that real quick, we did have some pretty important Star Wars news drop. Last week we got the official trailer for Kenobi, and it looks kick-ass. So what were you guys' thoughts on that? I know, obviously, right off the bat, it's great seeing Ewan McGregor back in that role for the first time in 17 years. So, oh, look at this. Our buddy Sean Hines is commenting right from the House of Blues, Chicago. He's he's at the Mammoth WVH show tonight.
Nice.
That's awesome.
And
So
yet
anyway,
still finding time to tune in.
I know.
Like, how boring is that concert?
Well, in his defense, it has not started yet. So yeah, your thoughts initially on the trailer for Kenobi?
Go for it, AJ.
Well, I had no expectations for what story we could expect for this time frame for him, but based on what I saw in the trailer, this wouldn't be the story I would expect.
Really?
So, I'm cautiously optimistic because they've already kind of confused me in a good way. So,
Fair enough.
I'll take whatever they give us at this point.
Okay.
How about you, Steve?
Dude, I for sake of trying to sound like John, I didn't really think anything about it because I was too busy just enjoying the fact that we got the damn trailer. Like, I didn't really put any thought process into, oh my God, this is the story they're telling or whatever. I was just like, yes, it's fine. Like, it feels like it's been like 10 years since we've had this damn thing teased to us. And
Yeah.
so I was just excited to see the trailer. And I did think it was funny that people thought that the I guess it's like the castle or whatever for the Inquisitors.
Mhm.
They're like, oh my God, this is new. And it's like, God, you guys have never played video games before, have you?
Yeah, right. Yeah, and
So
yeah,
and usually I'm always the one that's like behind because I'm kind of like the casual Star Wars fan. So it's kind of nice to just be like, you people are morons.
right. Well, of course, we did have the complaints about the live action Inquisitors. God forbid you're just can't just be happy we got Inquisitors and the cool spinning lightsaber thing.
All right.
So our buddy Craig says, love the trailer, just not a fan of the Inquisitor's looks. Damn it, Craig. It's a live action Inquisitor. Don't be that guy. Damn it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I unfortunately I was waiting for that, and
Right.
I was not disappointed.
It's the unfortunate reality of going animation to live action. Like if it's the other way around, you have a face, you have features to go off of, but when you just make a person from scratch 10 years ago on a TV show and then you got to try your damnedest to find somebody that looks exactly like it.
Yep.
It's-
Yeah.
No,
Or you-
I'm
or
gonna
you end
disagree
up
with you there,
CG
Steve.
So, or you end up CGIing the shit out of it. So, I mean, either way,
Yeah.
people are going to complain.
No, that's a good explanation for Cad Bane because he was a cartoon first. But we saw Powan, I guess they're called,
Yes.
which is the Grand Inquisitor, in Revenge of the Sith. It was a live action character first. So we know
Okay.
what those aliens are supposed to look like.
Oh
And I don't
yeah,
think
yeah,
this
the
guy
dude
really
with
looks
the
like
big ass popped collar and yeah, I
Yeah.
know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Look,
Yeah, the
Kale-
cartoon came second in this case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
Kale McLeish says, first to bag on Inquisitors loses, and like 2 minutes later he says, oh, Craig loses. So, yeah, I thought it looked cool, man. I don't know what to expect. Obviously, what we get in trailers is usually a complete and total smokescreen, so who knows?
Yeah.
There's
There's always things in the trailer that never make it to the shows.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I would put more stock in the concept art that we saw than I would anything in this trailer. So look at it, Craig. He says they could have done better. What they did with Cad Bane was amazing. Yes, it was, and the Inquisitor looks fine. You know, there's different species look different. You know, they don't all look the same. So,
I mean, and for sake of sounding, like I didn't like the character because I thought Cad Bane looked great, but he did kind of have little Muppet-ish features too. So I mean, even he didn't look perfect.
Yeah.
So I just don't understand what people are complaining about. I guess I don't know.
I
It's
just-
Star Wars. We've talked about it for 6 years. There's always going to be people complaining. It doesn't matter.
Well, it looks awesome. Again, we saw Obi-Wan for the first time in 17 years. It was like slipping on that old pair of shoes or old pair of jeans that is your favorite. You're like, oh my God, this is great.
Yeah.
So, instantly it got, as AJ likes to call it, like it hit me in the member berries. So I was a big fan of that. So I'm excited for it. And, we're going to have a real special experience watching that first episode at Celebration at a very kind of private invite-only party that we're lucky enough to be invited to. So that's going to be really cool. And it's going to be on May 25th, like actual Star Wars Day. So, it's going to be a really cool experience. So, Steel Brony 17 says Star Wars is overrated. I'll refrain from
There is a block feature, right?
Yeah,
It's his weekly trolling feature
It
that
is.
he likes to do now.
Our buddy KXM's checking in. He says, sup. What's up, KXM? Good to see you, man. Our cousin, because there was a typo in Craig's comment, he said Cad Babe. Our cousin Chris says Cad Babe was a babe. All right. Now we're grammar bombing people.
Yep, got to have the
So-
trolls in the comments. By the way, I'm going to apologize tonight if there's any background noise on my feed. I live on a busy street, and the weather is warm and awesome here, which means there's motorcycles everywhere. And I can only soundproof so much. So
Cool.
Okay. Well,
which
maybe
means there's probably going to be emergency vehicles too.
yeah.
I'll mute myself if I have to.
Maybe one of the people on motorcycles came up with a list of sequels to talk about. That'd be kind of interesting. That's a possibility.
You want me to go out and find out if they got a list?
yeah. Get out there, AJ. Do some like on-site stuff. Look at Steel Brony. Considering I'm your only Twitch viewer, you should be lucky. Don't come at me with that crap, dude. It's not the quantity of the viewers, it's the quality. Don't you know that?
We don't have
by
that
now?
either.
Yeah, we just got a bunch of dummies that are stupid enough to watch us. So,
Wait a minute.
all right.
Now you got
The
two.
quality of our
All
fans
right.
matches
There we
the
go.
quality of our
There we
show.
go.
So it's-
All right, so why don't we jump into this here? And again, we are going to talk about our favorite or what we think are the best movie sequels. So we didn't really rank these because we realized that it was going to kind of be difficult. I know that for me, I have 3 for sure that I would put in my top 3. So I would say we would probably have some stuff in common, but I think I'm definitely going to have a couple you guys did not even think of. So
I'm guessing by your background that one of them I definitely did not think of. So
I actually, I may be throwing people off on purpose. So you never
okay.
know. You never know.
okay,
So
I'm good with that.
I'm going to
Does
start.
Brazzers content count towards the list?
No, it does not.
I was
No.
gonna say yes.
All right, I'm going to have to write a new list then. I'm sorry.
No, that's disgusting. All right, so I'm going to start out with a question for one of these that I have on my list. So I want to know if this counts as a sequel, and I will explain why I consider it a sequel. I have The Silence of the Lambs. And the reason I have it as a sequel, I know it was the first movie to come out, But in the book series, it's actually the second one. It's Red Dragon technically happens first, and then the Silence of the Lambs. So does that count? I didn't know if that counted. I'm thinking no because
so.
we're going
Yeah,
with the movie. So
I'm gonna give you points for the attempt, but I think because it's, if we were going book movie, I think that's one thing. But since we're just talking movie, I would say no, it doesn't count. But I see where you're going with that, though. I applaud. Like I said, I applaud the effort.
okay, yeah, that's why I didn't say okay. I'm counting this because, oh, look at this. KXM's gonna get banned right off the way. We're talking good sequels. He says Grease 2. Dude, Grease 1 wasn't even worth a damn. That movie sucked. I don't care what anybody says. I sat through with my wife one time to be a good husband, and I was like, never again. So Grease 2, ugh.
Okay, other question for you.
Okay.
And the ones that I was thinking about, do remakes count, or are those not sequels?
Well,
And I've got a
well, now,
tweener. I've got a tweener, so let me just
give us an
throw this
example.
out there because it's not really on my list, but I was considering it. What about something like Evil Dead 2?
Well,
Steve, are you familiar with it? Because I know my brother's never seen it. So
I've seen half of it.
It's a
That's not a
retelling
remake.
of the first movie with some new stuff in it too. So
Was
it's
this-
not really clear if it's supposed to replace the first movie or follow it.
Are you just Googling movie sequels or something? Because that's not a good one. What are you doing over there?
I
AJ's
could probably
like,
name your top 5, and I don't even know which ones you've listed, but you've already given up 2 of them just by our wallpaper and your background. So
well, look, I mean, let's be honest. Do we all have Empire at number 1? I mean, come on, it's us.
It's on my list, yes. And I actually
Okay.
texted John about it because I was like, okay, technically sequel because it was the second release, but it's also episode 5. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
There's like that.
where are we throwing this one?
I think we'd get crucified if we did not include Empire because
But I
it,
absolutely had Empire, yes. So,
I mean, that's
okay.
like,
So I tossed that one right out because I knew it was a given.
yeah. I mean, we'll start there because it's obvious, and then we'll go on to some of the ones that we didn't really, obviously we're gonna have some differences here. But
you know what?
Okay, so what makes it such a great sequel? John, what is your definition of a good sequel? Why does Empire rank so highly?
Well, I mean, I think when you have a movie like Star Wars that is so widely accepted, not just in like the nerd community or a certain community of a fandom, but it's kind of like a universal thing, and it becomes such a major part of pop culture. When they announce, okay, we're going to do a second one, I think basically what you have is, the expectations are absolutely through the roof because you're so hung up on that first movie. So fans go in there all excited to see more of that. And movies like that, there are sequels, as we'll get into, that, at least for me, kind of do well and, are equivalent to the first one, if not surpass them. But I think Empire is like the blueprint for a movie that absolutely surpasses the original. You go in with expectations, and the expectations are exceeded. Everything that you liked about the original is right there, but it's enhanced. I mean, Empire had everything that you wanted, only more of that, and it was a more personal story, so there's even more emotion to it. It succeeds on every single level. And I think that's so hard to do. Like I have one on my list, for example, that I wanted to bring up as one that is rated as potentially the greatest sequel ever. And I disagree because I think it's too long and gets boring and drags in parts. And that's The Godfather Part 2. Everyone
God
reveres
damn
that.
you.
What?
Yeah, I'll fight you on that one.
No, I just crossed it off my list.
Well, no, you don't have to cross it off. I mean, it's a personal thing. But I mean,
no, I just don't want to name the same things. But yeah, that's 100% agree with that.
Did you have it on your list because like it's good or because you thought it was like overrated like I did?
No, I didn't put that much thought into it. I'm just thinking like I was looking at the DVD rack over here, and I'm like, what sequels do I enjoy just watching the hell out of? And I haven't watched Godfather 2 in ages, but I just know that for whatever reason, I like that movie better than the original. So like,
Okay.
be it a personal thing or what, I was just like, I know this is better than the first one, so I'm throwing it on my list.
Okay. Kale McLeish, I don't think this counts. He says, throwing it out there, I love sequels like No Way Home and Quantum of Solace, even though that movie isn't great, that pick up within minutes of the last film's ending. See, No Way Home that's the third in a trilogy. And Quantum of Solace, you can't really call a James Bond movie a sequel unless it's the second one ever made, because there's like 18,000 of them.
Plus, that gets muddy because they told the movies out of order from the books.
Yeah.
See, that I didn't even know. So I never been that much into the Bond stuff to even know that. So I just learned
Yeah,
something.
Casino Royale is actually the first book, and that took what, like 35 years of Bond movies before they got around to it.
Look at KXM, Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls. Dude, the first. Okay, I'm sorry, but
isn't that number 3?
I don't know. No, but it might as well be number 2 because that's what it is number 2. I hated Ace Ventura.
Really?
Dude, the stupid Jim Carrey movies where he's obviously overacting, I cannot stand. I'm like,
Fair
I
enough.
hate it.
Like, for the time they came out, I thought they were hilarious, but, I'm still obsessed with watching Jackass movies and stuff, which is also on my list. But
no, did you really? I have that on my list too.
Dude, Jackass 2, absolutely.
Oh, come on, man. Yes.
Wow.
Jackass 2 is awesome.
Absolutely.
Okay, you guys are thinking more outside the box than I was then.
Well, dude, seriously, it's like for me, like my criteria was either something that's just so legendary and obvious like Empire, but for me it's like I was thinking of like rewatchability, and if I think of a franchise that I like and I'm like, oh man, that second one is, and I have to admit, like I'm a huge fan of the Jackass stuff. And Jackass 2 has some of the greatest stuff in there, like the Beehive limo. Is amazing. Like that ending sketch where they have Jay Chandrasekhar doing the cab driver, and then they have the beard of pubes.
Yep.
I mean, come on, man. That
like,
is the best.
Just the opening scene where they were running through the damn houses with the bulls chasing them down the street. Like, you knew during the opening credits, you were like, this movie's fucking hilarious.
I know, man. Yeah, so yeah, I totally, yes. All right. Okay, so our buddy Joseph Friend says, direct sequels or any sequel regardless of number in the chronology. I think it depends on the movie.
I think we wrote the rules as saying it had to be the second movie they came out with.
That's what I would think.
Yeah, that's
I
what
ruled out a
went
whole
down
bunch
to.
of awesome movies in a franchise because they weren't the second one.
Yeah. All right, so our cousin.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say our cousin says the best sequel is Short Circuit 2 because Johnny Five is still alive and in the Big Apple.
Why does everybody end up in New York? You ever wonder that?
Yeah.
It's a city that never sleeps,
Kevin McAllister made it there. The Gremlins made it there. Johnny Five made it there.
But going up the chat there a little bit, I saw John Wick Chapter 2.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm looking at that, and I'm just like, is it substantially better than the first one? Like, I don't. They're all so damn equal but different at the same time that like I don't know if I liked the second one more than the first to like throw it on the list. But honestly, all three of those damn movies are amazing.
I'll be completely honest. Number one, I have a movie that kind of falls into that criteria, but I have it on my list because I just love it so damn much. But also, I have not seen any of the John Wick movies because I want to watch them in order, and it has the dog dying in the very beginning, and I can't handle movies where the dog dies. I'm like, so I got to get over it, but I don't know when it happens, so I don't want to accidentally watch it and be like, oh man, damn it.
It's early, so like you can get your anger out and still watch about 90% of the movie.
Right. Sorry. So Joseph Wren says, Answer: Desperado. What the hell is that a sequel to? You're gonna have to explain that one. I don't know that movie. I know the Eagles song, but
I was gonna say it just popped
that's a
up
blind
into my
spot
head.
for us.
yeah. All right, so why don't we each go around the horn and pull one out from our list? So AJ, we're gonna have you go first. So what do you have on your list?
All right, I'm going to start with some of the low-hanging fruit. I'll tell you, I weighed sequels higher if they. I like sequels that take a chance and mess with the format a little bit instead of just give us like more of the first one. Which I think is why Empire Strikes Back is so strong, because it's not just a rehash of Episode 4. So now one of the ones on my list, again, low hanging fruit, Terminator 2, Judgment Day.
Oh, you fucking
To make the villain of the first movie the hero of the second one was bold, and I thought it expanded the story incredibly and changed it into like an action franchise instead of like a B movie, like horror sort of franchise.
Yep. I actually have that in my top 3. I completely agree with you on that, AJ. It's a movie that I love the first Terminator movie. I'm into that cheesy 80s, those, the crappy special effects. Like that's, to me that's cool. And it's Schwarzenegger, and those early Schwarzenegger movies are always entertaining. But then you get to T2, and like you said, it does flip it on its ear where the villain is now the good guy. You had the first instance of that CGI stuff where, with the T-1000, and it's just so much bigger than the first movie, and there's so much there, and you're so invested in this story.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
dude.
like,
I remember being confused as shit because, like, I was young. These movies came out in the early '90s, and I watched Judgment Day first. I don't
really?
know why,
Okay.
but I probably caught it on TV or something, or HBO or some shit. So like I had no idea, and then I watched Terminator 1, and I'm like, the hell is this nonsense? Like, I thought he was the goddamn good guy. What is going on here?
The other thing that's crazy about it, it was 8 years between the original and the sequel. So it wasn't like the studio was so blown away by the first one. They're like, yeah, let's do another one.
yeah,
Like,
Right.
it took 8 years and a new director for something to come around and have the studio actually say, yeah, let's make that.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a new director, AJ. I thought James Cameron did the first one too. I'm almost
Did he do the
positive.
first one?
I think so. Yeah, if I'm remembering right.
Oh, that's right. I'm thinking of another one on my list. Never mind.
Okay. All right. Yeah, no, Terminator 2 that's a movie that I can always come back to. I don't care when it's on, I'll watch it, at least part of it.
And there's so many iconic things: the helicopter, the damn semi truck, the ending scene, with the damn, the steel mill and shit. Like, there's so many things that you just remember from that movie. Like, you could and you're cool. Like you said, you could watch part of it. Like, if you just catch like 30 minutes in the middle of it, you're probably pretty solid.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right, Steve. There's, man, I'm running like through the movie in my head, and it's like, yeah, there's just one
Like,
giant
honestly,
memorable
that-
piece after another.
Yeah, that area of Los Angeles where the truck chase was, like, to this day, I cannot see those canals or whatever you want to call them
Yeah.
in Los Angeles.
Yes.
In like
and
every
not
movie.
immediately think about that. Like, in Grand Theft Auto, like, because Los Santos is supposed to be Los Angeles and stuff. Like,
Yep.
you do missions down there, and my thought process is always, it's where they did the T2 thing. And there's
Yep.
even a mission in Grand Theft Auto where they're shooting a movie down in those trenches, and there's a semi truck, and there's some guy that looks like a fake ass Arnold Schwarzenegger down there.
Yep.
So like, it's like you cannot escape it. It's it's iconic, man.
Yep, I completely agree with you there, man. There we go. Yeah, Cam McLeish says T2 completely ups the stakes. T1, survive from this dude trying to kill you. T2, this dude's gonna try to kill you like a lot, but also if you fail to destroy everything, the world gets nuked. Yeah, dude, Kale, spot on, man.
Yeah.
Like everything is bigger, and I mean, for Christ's sakes, they get you to feel emotions for a machine, for God's sakes.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, anytime a movie can do that, you're hitting
Dude,
the right
like,
hitting the right
I
chords.
just brought it up the other day because Gwen absolutely loves Ready Player One, and like,
yes.
at the end of the movie when the Iron Giant falls down into the thing and it does the thumbs up while it's falling down into the lava. Like,
Yep.
It's just there, dude. It's always there. T2 is every damn where, even if you're not paying attention to it.
So our cousin has one that I kind of struggled with.
I had
he says
it on my list.
The Dark Knight. I am probably going to blaspheme for some people here. The reason that I did not have it on my list, even though it does fit the criteria, I was not the biggest fan of those Nolan Batman movies.
Fair enough. Because honestly,
I mean, The Dark Knight is awesome, though. That's the one I did love.
Exactly. Legitimately, of those 3 movies, The Dark Knight is like the rewatchable one for me. Like I can really take or leave the other ones. I personally never liked what's his name is Batman anyways.
Christian Bale, yeah.
Christian Bale. Like great Bruce Wayne, terrible Batman.
Yeah,
I don't know why. I just always felt that watching those movies.
They've never really found a guy that's good at both.
No,
he either makes a good Batman or a good Bruce Wayne. But
Michael
of all
Keaton.
the characters, like you've got Val Kilmer, George Clooney, Michael Keaton, Robert Pattinson now, obviously Christian Bale, and I feel like I'm forgetting one.
Robert
I guess Adam
Pattinson
West,
is
but
the new one, and I'm sorry. I always forget if Christian Bale was the 17th or the 23rd Batman in the last decade or 15 years, whatever the hell it's been. I'm so tired of that shit, dude. Pick a fucking Batman and stick with it. I'm like all these. It's just stupid to me. It's just I can't get into it because there's no continuity there. You know, like this new movie is out and everyone's like, this is the Batman I've always wanted. Well, Jesus Christ, you didn't like the other 72 you got? Like, I mean, enough is enough with this. Just pick one and go with it. It's crap. I can't stand that. Sorry, I don't mean to rant, but
no, you're good.
Ugh.
I'm going to use it as a segue anyways to something on my list.
Okay.
Batman Returns.
Wow, I did not think anybody would pull that one out.
Highly regarded movie, yeah.
Dude,
good call.
Michelle Pfeiffer and DeVito is the Penguin, dude. That is seriously my favorite one of those damn movies, dude.
Okay, all right.
I mean, again, the first one, more iconic stuff. Dude, the original Joker in that and everything, like so good. But man, I loved Batman Returns. The whole thing with Michelle Pfeiffer and sewing the damn suit together as she slowly lost her mind and all. It's such, and dude, the way that Tim Burton, put that feel on those movies, dude, like it's so damn good, dude.
Yeah. No. Okay. Well, I prefer the first one, but I'm not gonna crap on your choice because that is a damn good movie.
Right.
That is a damn good movie. I did not even think of that one. I knew there'd be stuff I didn't think of. I do
love the cheese factor. Like Tim Burton has his own style.
Yes.
Where the Christopher Nolan stuff is more like gritty and grounded, and I like the weird like stylized sort of thing that Tim Burton's got going on.
Yep.
Right down to even in the first movie where the friggin' Batwing like just has to run up through the clouds to make the bat symbol against the full moon before diving down again. Like,
that's cool, man.
Sure, why not?
Before it stalls out and falls back down. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we do have a couple Batman comments here. So Kale McLeish says, The Dark Knight is an awesome sequel, best in its trilogy, and best live-action Joker of all time. No, I'm sorry, that would go to Jack Nicholson, but thank you for playing. I will die on that hill.
It's tough, man.
Let's see. Joe says, Affleck was great at both, meaning Bruce Wayne and Batman, although he was limited. And he says, I will die on this hill. And Kale disagrees. He says Affleck pulled off both, but overall wasn't good. Okay.
Wasn't good at which one, though? Because I think he was a great Bruce Wayne. Maybe not so much the Batman part of it, though.
Now we're falling down the hole of, is it the movie's fault or is it the character's fault?
Because Ben Affleck,
they might be saying he did what he could with the material he was given, but the material wasn't as good.
You know what?
All right.
Affleck was the shit in Phantoms, yo.
Okay. All right.
Come on, Jay and Silent Bob reference,
right, dude? All right. So I'm gonna
don't get JT talking about Affleck or else he's gonna bring up Daredevil. You fucking know it. Don't you dare.
There wasn't a Daredevil 2.
Was there a sequel?
Unfortunately not. But there was a
There was
sequel to an
Elektra.
awesome movie, and the first movie was great. And Steve, since you picked one that pretty much nobody would have on their list, I have one on my list that nobody's going to have, and I don't give a shit what anybody says. I think parts of this movie could never get made today, but I have Anchorman 2 on my list because I think it's hilarious.
I'm not mad at
Dude,
you.
I
I'm
don't
not
even
mad
know
at
how to
you.
refute that. I watched it the
not
minimum number of times possible and then forgot it.
Dude, to me, I just love that style of humor that they did in Anchorman 1, and I got more of the same. And it was a little more extreme because some of that, I mean, admittedly, some of that, the racist stuff, I'm like, oh my God. Like, because when I rewatched it recently, I was like, holy shit, how'd they get away with this?
Oh yeah,
Like,
Dude,
wow,
like-
man. Like,
yeah. Like, dude, I was going through the rabbit hole of YouTube earlier, and I came across a video that was Stone Cold Steve Austin's like greatest insults and so and half the shit he was saying, I was just like, oh my God, you would never
Yeah.
see that anywhere near a TV anymore. He's talking about calling Stephanie McMahon a transvestite and pulling, he's
Yeah.
threatening to spank her, but he's like, oh, be careful, her balls might pop out. And I'm like,
yeah.
oh my God, you could never go near this anymore.
Well, and like all the racist stuff in Anchorman 2 when he's like, black. I can't stop saying black. You're like, okay. And then he's at the dinner table like, which one of you pipe-hitting bitches wants to hand me the potatoes? Like, all that stuff. I'm like, dude, there's no way. There's no way that gets into a movie today. There's no way in hell.
Yeah,
No way
What
in
makes
hell.
it so incredible
I mean,
is
and
that,
that was
movie's
only
what,
20
like 5 years old?
2013. I'm looking at it now. Like,
Yeah.
dude, in the
Holy
grand
crap.
scheme of things,
Mhm.
That thing is 9 years old already?
Yes. And that's the thing is like
Wow.
and I can't believe they got away with it then because
Yeah,
things have been pretty
exactly.
pretty PC. Like, so yeah, I
it
know.
just tells you. It just tells you like 2013 was bad, but 2022 is so bad that you look at 13 and go, "Wow, how did you do that?"
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I mean,
insane.
it was ballsy, man. And whew, man, but I'm sorry. I love the humor. That style of humor is just, when he goes blind and he's just living in a damn lighthouse, and he's like he's giving him appetizers, and they're like Brick, don't eat that. That's checkers and cock, and he just takes a bite. It's like, Ron, I'm gonna need your recipe. And then he tries to drive off, and you just hear the car crunch outside. You just muffled yell, "Will somebody help me here? I'm friggin' blind!" Like, it's so stupid. Like,
Dude,
I love it.
That's up there with the Jackass thing. It's just like no matter what, there's always room in your life for something about a guy tying a bottle rocket to his dick and watching it on TV. Like,
Yes.
no matter what, it's just gonna be funny.
Exactly. It's like I went into the movie knowing exactly what I was gonna get. Like, okay, it's like the style of humor, and I'm like, please don't suck. Like, for example, here's a sequel that unfortunately was disappointing. Was Hot Tub Time Machine 2, because Hot Tub Time Machine, the first one, is like one of the funniest movies I've ever seen, and then the second one, like, it's okay, but the only time I really laughed my ass off was when he was in that virtual reality game, and he's like, oh, can I just have
Yeah.
pancakes? Like, instead of having it shoved up his ass or whatever, like, and that was, so yeah, so I've got Anchorman 2. Joseph Wren asks, does Endgame count as a sequel to Infinity War, or am I pushing the definition of direct sequel?
See, I would.
That's a good question.
I would say no, because I would consider that Avengers. So if you're gonna say sequel, that would be
The fourth
Ultron
one.
would be
Yeah.
2 technically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of how I was looking at it too. So, all right, AJ, what do you have next on your list?
All right. So, again, something that I consider is like market improvement from the first one, right? Like if something
Okay.
like starts out okay, but gets a lot better in the sequel. So I decided to dig into the horror genre, and I'm going to say Hellraiser 2.
Oh, I knew I forgot one. Oh, damn
Yeah.
it.
Absolutely forgot.
Every
Oh,
time
I
I,
totally
think of
agree.
Hellraiser and I think of like all my favorite scenes, because I don't actually know the movies that well, but every scene that I do remember They're all from the second one.
Yes.
That
yes.
movie was
Yeah.
incredible. The first one's kind of plotting and boring, I think.
I like the
Like-
first one a lot. I like those two movies a lot, but you nailed it. That's a
Yeah,
great
absolutely.
one. I knew I forgot one.
Yeah,
There it is.
definitely did not think of that. Yeah, that's a great one.
Damn.
Yeah, there's
Damn.
a lot of the horror movies in general. Like, there's a lot of sequels that either go to shit or they kick so much ass. There's like never
Yeah.
any between ground with those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's white and black. There's really no in between on those.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, dude, Hellraiser 2 is awesome. They amped up the gore like crazy. I mean, I loved it. I saw that as a little kid. It was like God, I was in 5th grade or something. 5th or 6th grade maybe. And I'll never forget, we were at my buddy Matt Gambino's house over on the opposite side of Strongsville, the city we grew up in. And the parents let us watch Hellraiser 2, and I'm sitting there watching these people just get carved to shit, and I'm going, oh my God, I can't believe I'm watching this. Like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Right.
Like, I felt like the cool kid because me and my buddies are watching this horrible slasher film. I'm like, wow. And then, of course, there's boobs on the screen, so as a little kid, you're like, oh my God, there's boobs too? This is the greatest movie
Right.
ever.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, especially at that age when you catch a horror movie and you see a rack in it, you're like, oh yeah.
right. Like
That's the only reason I watched Friday the 13th in middle school.
Well, yeah, that's a good example.
Like,
or the Dream
was-
Warriors, the third
yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street movie with the nurse.
Mm-hmm.
You were like, oh boy, here we go.
Yep. you're like, yeah.
Exactly. I'm like an 11-year-old kid. Like, this is the best part of the movie. Like, so man, good call, AJ. Hellraiser 2. That is a good one. Okay, so Kale McLeish wants to know. So to be obvious, who's got aliens?
I actually forgot that one too because we were just talking about it, so I didn't think. about
Really?
it.
Well,
Another
before we
James
get
Cameron joint.
Yeah.
Damn it. My cousin just brought up one. That's another one I forgot. And we'll get into aliens. My cousin, our cousin Chris says, not sure if it's better, but they're equally great. Blade Runner 2049. I 150% agree with you on that. I bought that on a whim in 3D so I could watch it in my PlayStation VR headset, and I absolutely loved it. That is a very good call because I love that movie. So if anybody out there is a Blade Runner fan and has not seen the sequel, it's fantastic, at least in my opinion. So that'll be my movie recommendation for the show. But
See, to me, that one's interesting because it's really kind of like the same movie. Like, it doesn't really change much. It continues the story, obviously, but to me, it just feels like it didn't even have to be a sequel. Like, if they just tried to make Blade Runner now, it would look like that. So it was like the perfect spiritual successor, even though it was like 30 years on from the original. To me, it was
Okay.
just like, well, yeah, this is basically what they did back then, just, with modern movie making.
yeah,
Which is perfect for a sequel. If you really want to do a follow-up that many years later, then yeah, you need to match the tone and everything with the original. And I loved it too.
Yeah.
And I mean, Chris knows, and I think we've talked about this offline too, JT. I'm not the biggest fan of the first one. Like, it's
Okay.
all right, and I get into it for what it's trying to do, but if I'm thinking a movie, like, sit down and watch, and you're like, you could watch Blade Runner or Blade Runner 2049. Which one you get to pick? I'm like, 2049. Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. All right. Wade Lindemann, he's trolling us, obviously. He says aliens equals 3 poop emojis. That is a complete fallacy. You are 100% wrong, Wade, because aliens is kick-ass. That's a weird one, though, because, like, it's like we've talked about, Alien is more like a horror movie, whereas Aliens is more like an action thriller type of a thing. I mean, for me as a little kid, it still scared the crap out of me because it had the xenomorphs and they were just terrifying for me when I was that age. But it's definitely a different vibe. It's still got the creepiness of it. You don't know where they're coming from and stuff. But I think once you're in like a giant war with them and they're all over the screen for the last half hour, whatever the hell it is, it's a little different than the first one where it's just the one damn alien and the whole entire time you don't know where the hell it is.
All right. Yeah.
So you don't know what's coming around the corner. So Oh
I think
God,
that was what made Terminator and Aliens so smart as franchises, and also kind of ruined them, to tap back into what we were talking about last time. Like the premise that made the original movies work, like the one Terminator and you have no hope of defeating it, was already done once. So that thrill is lost. And
yeah,
same with the alien, like the one alien, you have no hope of defeating it and no idea where it's coming from. You can't just do that again. So they had to
yeah,
come up with something different.
Right.
Problem is, once they did that, they then came up with nothing different after that, and they just kept on making
yep,
that same sequel over and over and over
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
yep. Yeah, I think Aliens is great. I do have it on my list. Surprised that's one you forgot, Steve. But I'm going to bring up another one that I completely forgot, and I think if this isn't on your guys' list, I think we should all kick ourselves in the ass. Joseph Friend says, "Does AJ have Wrath of Khan on his list?" I completely forgot Wrath of Khan, man. Oh,
You know, I was so excited to get in touch with you, Joe, about doing a Trek show, but then you had to bring up goddamn Into Darkness.
yes. So his full
That is
comment
the
is,
absolute dumpster fire toilet of Star Trek movies.
by the way,
I'll die on that hill.
Well, Joe says, does AJ have Wrath of Khan and Into Darkness on his list?
Oh, I
It's
absolutely
not-
have Wrath of Khan, yes.
It's not a remake, but it kind of is. Thanks, JJ. No, that's a remake. Okay, that's like saying, do you have Episode 4 and Episode 7 on your list of Star Wars movies? It's the same damn movie. Okay, so and Into Darkness is pretty much Wrath of freaking Khan. So, yeah. All right, Wrath of Khan. So, I guess we can riff on that for a second, and then Steve, will be your turn again.
Easy. You want to start or me? Because we both know it, JT.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
go
mean,
for it, because that's not my thing.
the first Star Trek movie was okay, but I think if you're waiting for, the original crew to come back and they're doing a movie, it was a pretty big letdown, the whole V'ger thing, and not much really goes on. But then you get to Wrath of Khan, where everything goes on,
Mm-hmm.
and they bring back, one of Kirk's biggest foes, if not his biggest foe ever. And you got the whole Genesis thing in there, and it's it's so good. And the whole chase at the end where he, the ship's all disabled and he has to go into the nebula so he could oh my God, it's so good. I can't believe I forgot that one.
It was a submarine movie in space, which was awesome. It was so tense, and it was all driven by character and stuff, instead of 15 minutes of them staring at a giant special effects cloud.
Yeah. No,
The first one was just plotting. It's been nicknamed the not in motion picture. It's so slow.
yes.
It's just nothing happens. It's just weird. And that second one, though, you could tell they knew the characters better. The story made sense. Bringing Khan back was awesome. This whole idea of hey, yeah, that throwaway episode from 30 years ago or whatever. Actually more like 20 years ago, but still. To take Khan was nothing big. It was just another story of the week kind of villain in the original series. And it didn't make a whole movie and his motivation made sense. The whole thing of hey, you guys never checked back on us. You thought you were being all generous by letting us be on this planet. Well, now the planet sucks and we had to survive anyway, so I hate you and I want you to die.
Yep.
Perfect. And Ricardo Montalban is just a scene chewer. He was amazing.
I know. Yeah, everything about that movie was just great. I mean, you start out with the creepy bug in the ear, and when Chekhov realizes City Alpha 6, oh no, Botany Bay, oh no, that was it was so good, man. Look at man. See here, this is a good one. Steel Brony says Toy Story 2. That's a good sequel.
I had not thought of that. Yeah,
I didn't think that either.
Yeah.
And Joseph Wren says the first Star Trek, it was supposed to be seen in 3D. That's why it's so well. That's crap. Just because it's in 3D doesn't mean you got to make everything boring. What the hell? I mean, they didn't put Lincoln in 3D. I mean, what the heck? A movie that's nothing but dialogue. I mean, I love Lincoln, but geez, oh Pete, it's nothing but dialogue.
As far as return on investment, Star Trek 2 was made for half the budget because of the poor box office of the first one, and it was twice as good of a movie. So
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they were so proud of their special effects and their giant Enterprise model in the first one. It's like they forgot to put a good script with it.
Right. Well, Kale agrees with Steel Brony. He says Toy Story 2 is kind of godly. Yep, that's a good one.
Yeah.
See, like I said, I knew we'd forget some. So, all right,
Yeah.
Steve, what else do you have on your list?
Sometimes when you're in the mood to watch a movie, you had a bad day or something, and you just want to watch people get dismembered for, I don't know, 100 minutes straight.
Okay.
Kill Bill 2.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
So much better than the first one, dude. So much.
Wow.
I cannot pinpoint anything more so than just when they're fighting in that room with her in the yellow motorcycle suit and the girl that has the giant ball with the chain with the ball on the end of it
Uh-huh.
and shit like that. Like that whole maybe 20 minutes of that movie is just it makes the entire damn thing. But yeah, it's just sometimes you're watching movies and you're like, yeah, let's watch people get their heads chopped off for 90 minutes.
You're just looking for straight brutality.
Yes, exactly. And then that goofy ass dude with the giant white eyebrows.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh god, it's such a good movie. And I don't even like Tarantino movies all that much, but man, I love those movies.
All right, so I'll be honest, I have not seen the Kill Bill movies. I've seen little bits of them here and there, but the bits I have seen is basically just people getting chopped to fish bait.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
So-
Imagine, let's just say the two movies together are 3 hours. That's it.
right.
It's John Wick, but it's a female and it's a sword.
Yeah,
That's about it.
basically. All right, so I'm gonna pull one out for my next one that I don't think anybody's got on their list either. But again, it follows the theme for me where it's I really love the first one and I'm totally fine getting more of that with the second one. So, Kale, he stole my thunder. Ted 2. That's exactly where I was going. He says, you know what? Ted 2, I said it. As stupid as Ted is as a movie, Ted 2 has a well-served plot tied into the characters, a great song moment, and it's hilarious. Ted 2, FTW. Dude, Ted 1 was not a stupid movie. I love the Ted movies. I just rewatched them a couple weeks ago, and they are funny as hell.
If you go in there and get that job, we'll go out here and we'll smoke this.
Yeah.
Do we still gonna smoke it if I don't get the job? Probably, but go in there and get
Exactly. Well, then let me go apply for this job I so crave.
yeah.
you had sexual intercourse with a coworker on a bag of turnips that we sell to the public. I fucked it with a parsnip and sold it to a family with 4 small children.
How is it that we were going to name the exact quote at the exact same time, dude?
That's so good. Or even stupid shit like every single lawyer they go to see in Ted 2, they're like, is that candy for the public? And oh, sorry, that's not supposed to be out here. And they won't even let him eat out of the candy dish. Dude, the movie was hilarious. Again, if I really love a movie, especially a comedy, and they're like, okay, here's a sequel to that, I want it to be as funny. It's always so depressing when you go to see something again like Hot Tub Time Machine 2, and you're like, oh man, and
I gotta give them credit, yeah, because comedies are hard to follow.
Yeah,
you look at something like Coming to America.
Oh God, that
big old turd.
I laughed one time.
Anytime they tried to make a Dumb and Dumber sequel.
Oh geez,
Yeah.
dude, that was a huge letdown too. I was really hoping that what was it? What was the third one? Dumb and Dumber.
Dumber.
Was that the one that had
something
Jeff
like that.
Bridges and Jim Carrey? And even that one was okay, but again, the only time I really laughed my ass off was when the dude in the wheelchair, like the Stephen Hawking guy, the dude's up on stage and he's like, he's right. I'm a total fraud. And the guy in the wheelchair goes, what the fuck? In that robot voice. I about pissed my pants in the theater. That was so funny. All right, so AJ, what else do you have?
Oh, we're back to me. I thought you hadn't won a name yet. No,
I
you
just
went
did
with
Ted
2. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
All right, you went with Ted 2. This one is kind of a left field pick, but again, this is comparing it to its predecessor, Gremlins 2. I think
Wow,
that movie gets shit on so hard, and I think it's hilarious. And the fact that they made a comedy after like a creature feature horror movie,
Right.
I thought was brilliant. And the characters are so friggin' stupid. Like you got a spider gremlin and an electric
Yep,
gremlin
yep.
and a girl gremlin and a
Yeah, they started
you know,
getting
bat
real goofy
gremlin
with it. Yep.
Wow. There's one I didn't think
Dude,
anybody would have.
it's got Christopher Lee in it.
Yes. Uh-huh.
He's the doctor or the mad
Uh-huh.
scientist, whatever, which is amazing. Yeah, like there's just so much. It's goofy and stupid, but the first one was too. But the first one didn't know if it was supposed to be creepy or funny. It was kind of like a little bit of both.
Uh-huh.
And this one
Right.
was just like, no, we're just going to be goofy and stupid with it, and
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I will give you that one, man. That's one I did not think anybody would have. So, good call on that one, man. Wow. See, I
Yeah.
knew there'd be ones we forget. All right, Steve, you are up next. What do you got? What else do you have on your list?
We've already done the Marvel thing, but Winter Soldier.
Oh, that was gonna be my next one.
Yeah,
Yep.
That is
like,
a really good one.
dude, it honestly might be. We talked about it with our Marvel thing. It's not my favorite, but it might be the best Marvel movie made. Like it's definitely up there. Like if you
Yes.
want to argue it, that's for damn sure.
I would completely agree with you because to me, I always think of it as Empire is the best Star Wars movie, so that would be like Winter Soldier for me. But like my personal favorite is Revenge of the Sith, and my personal favorite Marvel movie is the first Captain America. But you could say that it's better than,
Yeah.
It's just so yeah, I completely
Yeah,
agree with you. I
'cause
had that way up on my list.
Yeah, I absolutely love, like, my favorite Marvel movie is the first Iron Man because I love, like, Tony's my dude and shit, but I
Right.
will die on the hill that Winter Soldier might be the best damn Marvel movie they ever made.
I just watched that like a week ago, and God
Yeah.
bless America, that movie's good.
Yep.
God, that movie is so good. It's like the tension is always up. Having Captain America like a fugitive, you're like, what the hell is
Yep.
that? Like you just don't. It's something you never think about. You're like, holy crap! Like, how can they make Cap a bad guy?
Right?
And then to have him fighting his best friend, and he's like laying there on the glass bubble thing, and like the underbelly of the plane
Mm-hmm.
at the end, and he's like, finish your mission, I'm with you till the end, or to end of the line, or whatever. It's like, oh my God, and you're like, is Bucky really gonna kill him? Like,
Yep.
man, that is a good call, dude. That's a damn good one. Here's one, another one I didn't think of. I bet none of you guys probably would have thought of this one, but I love it. Steel Brony, Sherlock Holmes, Game of Shadows. I totally agree.
Really?
I
Wow.
love that one. Love
I've
it.
seen them, but I don't really know. They don't leave much of it. We're talking the Robert Downey ones, right?
Yes.
Dude,
Yeah,
I need to go
It's okay.
back. I really don't remember either of them. Like, I really
I
need to
love
sit
'em.
down and watch those again.
Well, here, Kale just brings up one, but he's totally full of crap. Okay, we're talking Marvel movies, so here's my next one: Spider-Man 2. Now wait a minute. If you're talking Spider, are we talking about Doc Ock Spider-Man 2, Kale?
yeah,
or are
that's
we
Tobey
talking-
Maguire.
Okay, all right, that one I'll give you. I thought you were talking about the second one in the new trilogy, which I don't even remember. Like, what is it? Hard to Get Home, or Lost
Yeah.
My
Far
Way
From
Home?
Home.
Yeah.
What-
Forgot my way home.
Yeah.
Something like that.
How the hell do I get home?
Yeah, exactly.
Like that one was God. I barely remember even what the villain's name was. I just remember that movie got done. I was like, that wasn't very good.
You know what's crazy though? Like, just to like sidetrack and take this off, like as we're talking, I keep thinking of new things and I keep writing down more movies.
Well, dude, Joseph Wren is bringing up some good. He says, "Where's the love for every Mike Myers sequel? Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me. That's a good call. Wayne's World 2.
Wayne's
Definitely
World
step up from the
2.
first one.
Wayne's World 2 is
was
not.
so much better than the first one.
No, not
Yes,
at
it
all.
Ugh.
No, Shrek 2. I prefer the first one, but my wife says Shrek 2 is by far better, and she
Well,
loves all the Shrek movies.
You know what? You know what? I will take that back, based purely on the opening scene of them in the Mirthmobile singing Bohemian Rhapsody. Like that, I could just watch that like 10 minutes of the movie, and I can go on to something else in my life.
Like
So-
how are you gonna Yeah.
Dude, I remember in the 90s, I wanted the damn licorice dispenser in the car so
Yeah.
bad because of that movie.
Didn't everybody who saw that movie want that?
Yeah. And to this day, people our age, we go into Guitar Center and you start to do the riff for Stairway and you look around.
And look for the
'Cause
sign.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so
You're
let me
just waiting
see.
for somebody to come stop you.
So I have one that, again, I don't know if anybody's going to have on the list, but I think everyone should. And again, it follows my, hey, I want more of that. Just give me more of that, and I'm happy. Deadpool 2. Deadpool 2 I mean, my wife and I argue all the time about which one's better, the first one or the second one, and it's like, dude, they're
First.
I'm a Deadpool 1 guy, but we just
Okay.
watched the second one the other day, and it's still just as good. But
Yeah,
I am
I
definitely
just always
a
give
Deadpool
more credit
1
to the
guy.
first time someone does something. Like, there's nothing wrong with Deadpool 2. I don't know what it does better than the first one. So all you did
Well-
was the same thing a second time.
It's okay. It's got the X-Force, which was hilarious. That just whatever his name is, the regular dad guy that gets absolutely annihilated. And dude, come on, Deadpool 2 has like the greatest post-credits scene in the history of cinema. I mean, come on. Like where he goes back and shoots himself for reading the Green Lantern script,
Yeah.
and he's like, this is like oh, this is life changing, whatever. And just you see his brain just splatter on the page.
Yeah.
he shoots
All right, fair
him-
point. Fair point.
himself in that Wolverine movie. Like that was
Yep.
awesome.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, Deadpool 2 is just because the first one was such a surprise. Like when you hear that they're doing Deadpool and they're like, okay, it's rated R. You're like, okay, they're doing it right. But is Marvel going to be able to nail an R-rated movie, considering, that they've never done it before? And it's like Deadpool really has to have that edge to it. You can't just put a bunch of swear words in. Like, it's got to have that edge. And I thought it was really ballsy of them to cast Ryan Reynolds, considering he'd already played a crappy version of Deadpool. But they're like, no, he's perfect for this character. So they did that, and I was like, okay, can they do it? And when they pulled it off, I was like, oh yes. And I'm thinking, please.
And you knew it immediately too when you started watching that movie the first time.
Yeah.
You knew it immediately. You were like, "Oh my god, this thing is gonna be good."
Like, what do you call him? Like a shit swizzler or something like that?
Something like that.
So, oh my god, yeah. No, but so once you knew it was great, you're like, you're going into the next one. And I'm like, oh, please don't have this just be a flash in the pan. And it was awesome too.
Yep.
It starts off him blowing himself up, and just the language. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm on board for this.
Like, even if you just sat there and read the opening credits when it's like directed by some douchebag, like
Yes,
they weren't even
exactly.
putting the names in it.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. All right, AJ. So we won't go on too much longer since we're about at an hour. I have, let's see, I have one of my top 3 left, and then I have, let's see, I've got 2 more.
Well, let's
So
go a little
I-
lightning round on this.
So
So,
I
yeah,
got
I mean,
5. I got 5 still on my list, but that's because I've been writing as we've been talking.
Okay.
it's because nobody can count. We were only supposed to do 5.
Yeah.
But JT, you've got a wallpaper behind you. You want to talk about that one?
That is the remainder in my top 3. Tron Legacy. Our cousin brought it up earlier in the chat, and I couldn't bring it up because that was going to be what I was going to close
Yeah,
up
because
with.
I knew you were sitting on that.
Oh, dude. I absolutely love the first Tron, again, because it's the cheesy 80s special effects. And there's just something about that movie that has this weird atmosphere to me that I have always just loved, even though it's corny and,
Yeah.
the effects, you could say they don't hold up. But I mean, I thought it just looks really cool. And so when they did a
Groundbreaking for the time.
oh yeah, very much
Yeah.
so, very much so. And when they brought it into the 21st century, when they did the sequel, I was like, okay, is this gonna like ruin the vibe? Did AJ freeze? I think AJ might have froze.
Yeah,
yeah.
looks like it.
So
Dude, I knew I was gonna like that movie as soon as they started playing Journey by the
yeah,
going into the arcade. I was like, okay, I'm all right with this.
Yep. yeah. I just, man, I absolutely, I loved it because it still had that cool look, but
Yeah.
they did bring it into like the 21st century, whatever. But they did it in such a cool way.
Yeah.
You
Like
know,
I
it was
love
like it
the
totally
story.
worked.
Yeah, I love the story that it was just like they didn't skip a beat. They were just like, yeah, all that happened 30 years ago and here's today.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's really
Yeah, I
fucking
love that.
smart, man.
Yep. And the way they
Like
de-res
anytime you
people
can
now,
write a visual update into the storyline like that, like, hey, it's video games and technology. Of course, it looks better now.
yeah.
Like, yeah, there you go, built in.
Yep. And I again, they humanized the story, the whole father-son thing. The graphics were just outrageously cool. I'm actually going to do my first WTF Friday about the Tron movies. I'm going to get my buddy Jonah, who plays guitar in my band, the cover band I sing for. He plays guitar, and he's a huge Tron guy, so I'm going to get him on, and we're going to nerd out on some Tron on a WTF Friday and just drink some bourbon and talk some Tron. So, Tron Legacy for sure. That's in my top 3 because I just cannot get enough of that movie. I absolutely love that movie. It's one of my all-time favorites. So
I'm still amazed that hasn't spawned more movies. They got that animated series out there,
Yeah,
and then
right.
that's it.
well,
So weird.
they basically expected it to do a little better at the box office and went, it must not be popular enough, and then they scrapped it. They had a third one ready to roll. I think Jared Leto was in it, if I remember right.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So all right, so Tron Legacy, and then I have 2 more after that. We'll go through for the lightning round. What do you have, AJ? Lightning round.
Well, again, talking about major step up from the previous movie, we've overlooked maybe one of the greatest sequels that Star Wars has ever produced. Especially when you're coming off of
That
something
doesn't
like
count.
Caravan of Courage, Battle for Endor. You get Wilford Brimley in it. You get Wilford Brimley fighting giant bats.
Yeah, no.
All right, I was
AJ
taking my headphones off.
AJ, yeah. I had to dump AJ for a second because that's just not cool.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
reaching
come
for
on,
the
dude.
headphones. I was like, okay.
Man.
Come on, Steve, back me up. Back me up. You've seen it.
That movie is great if you're 3 sheets to the wind like I was the night that we watched it, okay? So
I don't know if you have to be hammered to get any appreciation out of it. I don't know if that really counts.
right.
I just thought of one on the fly. Hangover 2, because I think that one's a little funnier than the first one.
Yeah,
I just
fair
thought of
enough.
it. So, all right. So, Steve, lightning round. What do you have? What do you have next on your list?
All right,
By the way,
since
we're
we're
getting
doing
shredded by the chat room. They're way more creative than we are.
all right,
Well-
since it's lightning round, I'll go over one that we don't really need to explain too much, but Clerks 2.
Okay.
Clerks 2 was way better than the original. But something we can discuss, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
I was thinking about that one.
Super Shredder,
Ninja,
Vanilla
go, Ninja,
Ice,
go.
all that.
Go,
Yes.
Ninja,
That's
go,
right.
Ninja, go.
A
Oh my
million
God.
times better than the first one.
Oh my
A million times
God.
better than the first.
I never that never even crossed my mind. Our cousin agrees. Says yes, Steve.
Yes. Dude,
Holy
I
crap.
probably watched that movie when I was younger to the point of being able to quote the entire damn thing at some point. Like
God.
it was bad, dude. I watched the shit out of that movie back in the
Fucking
day.
Michelangelo using those like pepperoni sticks.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
the opening scene as
Yes.
nunchucks. Like, what the
Yep.
hell was that?
Oh my God. Yes. Well, here's another one that we forgot. Joseph Rem brings it up. Die Hard 2. But that one I don't know because I think most people would probably take the first one. I prefer the second one by the slightest bit, so I think that could have made my list.
All right.
But and he says the Great Muppet Caper. He and Kale agree on that one. Man, all right. So I'm lightning rounding. So all right, I have The Matrix Reloaded. I love the Matrix
Wow.
movies, and the first one's legendary. But again, the second one was like bigger in scope,
Wait,
and the whole.
Hold on. Hey Gwen, Reloaded better than the original?
He's asking the wife.
Is Reloaded better than the Matrix?
Let's see. We got a fourth opinion.
Oh, she's staring at me like she mad right now.
Oh, so she does. So she doesn't agree.
I don't agree, or you're looking at me like I'm stupid for questioning it.
No. Well, you are stupid for questioning it. No, the first one was way better than the second.
There we go.
But the second one was still good.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, Ian, you're out on that one.
Dude,
All right.
the Merovingian was cool. When you start getting into like Smith as a
His wife
virus.
was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I just loved it, man. Like because I'm a fan of the story, as I've said on the show before. So I think when they did the second one and really dug into like the depth of the story, I thought that was really, really cool. So I was a big fan of that one. So yeah, I've got Matrix Reloaded.
Cool.
Again, I prefer it by a hair over the original. So AJ, next one in your speed round.
I'm done. I stopped at 5, as was the assignment.
Okay. All right, Steve. Well, I've got one more. So
Ghostbusters 2.
you prefer I love Ghostbusters too, but you prefer it to the first one?
I do. I actually do think it's better than the original.
Oh, okay.
Dude,
All right.
the pink slime and the damn what the hell was the song that they were playing when it was in the toaster?
Oh yeah. I can't think of it, man. But yeah, I know, like
Shit,
the
I don't
dancing
remember.
toaster.
Yeah. I always like the second one better than the first one. I don't know why.
No kidding.
It's always like that one.
I love the second Ghostbusters, but I can't like it more than the first. The first
fair
is
enough.
the first to me is just a damn near perfect reference. Or reference. I'm looking at the chat. Perfect movie. Excuse me. Sorry.
Right.
So Joseph Friend wants to know. Christopher Drake says Steve no, and Joseph Friend wants to know, has JT ever caught the Stephen King reference in TMNT 2? I have not, because I haven't watched that movie in a long time, and I wasn't a constant reader Stephen King fan at the time that came out, so I would have to go back and rewatch it, but I probably would now. All right, so what else you got, Steve? Get down to one, and we'll each give our last one.
All right. So, in keeping with the theme, how about Back to the Future?
Oh, damn it! That's another one.
How did I not think of that?
Oh man, we dropped a ball on that.
You know what always slips my mind?
I
is-
always thought
is
the
those
third
sorts
one
of,
was
like-
absolute trash, but I loved the second one.
Yeah, I don't know if the third one's trash, but it's just not. The quality of the first two are just
Roland
so
only likes
strong.
the third one because of the train. Don't give me that.
I always forget about the sequels that are part of like a trilogy or something, where it's like one continuous story instead of being
Right.
like
Yeah.
its own.
Oh man.
'Cause, yeah, I did not even think of Back to the Future, because I always think of them in terms of like it's 3 parts of one story.
Yeah. I'm
That-
kind of wondering if I have the same last movie as John right now.
Is this are you on your last one?
Yeah, I'm on my
All right.
last one.
So what's your last one?
You give me the time frame of yours. Is it like an 80s, 90s thing?
No, I think it's like
Okay.
early 2000s.
Okay. Last Crusade.
That's
That
the
is
third
the
one.
third one.
Is it? No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Temple of
Temple
Doom
of
is
Doom
number
is the
Fuck, it's Temple. God damn it. Okay, yeah, I fucked it up. I don't know. I was like, dude, I'm like, that's totally the second one. But yeah.
But that's a good call because that movie rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, how have we not mentioned it? That was one of the ones I wrote down while we were doing. I was like, how have we not mentioned Indiana Jones yet?
Well, dude, I mean, I love all the Indiana Jones movies, and go ahead if everybody wants to come at me for Crystal Skull, go right ahead. I love it. It's Indiana Jones, dude. If Indiana Jones is running around kicking ass, I'm there opening night. I'll
that's
go
why I was
multiple
wondering.
times.
That's why I was like, yeah, I'm like, he's got to have this on his list.
Yeah, no, I actually did not because I mean, it's Raiders. Raiders is Joseph Friend. Steve, go to the corner for forgetting Temple of Doom.
Fair enough.
See, Temple of Doom is phenomenal, and so is Last Crusade and Crystal Skull. But we're just talking about like basically perfect films, and Raiders. You can't find a single thing wrong with Raiders of the Lost Ark. I'm sorry,
Right.
you just can't. So the last one on my list, I actually have the Bourne Supremacy. I'm a big fan of the Bourne movies, and my favorite one is the second one. And it was
That is a solid pick. Yeah, I
I-
hadn't even thought about the Bourne trilogy.
Yeah, I never
but
thought about
wow.
that. Seriously.
Well, it's
Actually,
cool
there's
because
like 4 of them, aren't there? But still.
5, because there's the first 3, because there's the Bourne Identity, Bourne Supremacy, Bourne Ultimatum. Then they did the
Mhm.
one with Jeremy Renner. I forget what it was. It's a Bourne something or other. The Bourne other guy. And then
Yeah.
and then they
The
and
Born
then
from
they
Another
did-
Mother? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
exactly. And then they have the new one, or the newest one. It's just called Jason Bourne. But
And that's got
yeah,
both of them in it, right?
no, it's just Jason Bourne again, basically doing his thing. But yeah, man, something about that second one, like it's the first one's so good, and it's pretty much. My wife says those movies aren't great because it's the same movie over and over again. I'm like, yeah, a good one. So, but it's like there is more to it, when they kill the girlfriend right at the outset, and then of course he's, basically trying to avenge her a little bit. Like he's really got a hair up his ass. Like, why don't you leave us alone? You killed my girlfriend. And then the plot thickens. It gets deeper. The whole Treadstone and Blackbriar and all that crap, and the main CIA guy turns out to be dirty and he kills the kid, and it's just awesome. It's great, man. I that one always stands out to me in the Bourne trilogy, and I love that the original Bourne trilogy, and that one always is the one that stands out.
Yeah, I definitely need to go back and mess with those things too. Like, 'cause I
Yeah.
think I might have watched all those like once or something. Like, and they're
Oh.
good. I never worked around to them again. I need to.
It's an awesome binge watch to do that trilogy. And like, if you're ever like, you just need a day to do nothing, and you put those movies in, because it is kind of like watching the same movie for like 8
Uh-huh.
hours. So,
Yeah,
oh
it's-
my God, I just thought of another one that we all missed: The Two Towers. Oh man,
Oh my
how
god.
did we miss that one?
Gwen's yelling at me from the stairs again.
Oh man, I knew I would forget some of his ones.
Amazing. Oh, that is
my-
easily the best of the trilogy.
Yeah, and the others are fantastic. Man, oh man.
Dude,
I
that
can't-
whole Helm's Deep sequence is just incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I love that so much.
Yep. Wow, we dropped the ball on that one.
A little bit.
Wrath of Khan was a big one that we forgot.
I
Back
did
to
not.
the
That was
Future
on my
2?
list.
No,
We
I
just
was
got
okay,
to
all
it
right.
AJ
before I
had
did
that.
So never mind. All right, so I'm trying to think of the ones that we all missed. So Two Towers was one. Back to the Future 2. Oh no, you had that one, Steve.
Yeah.
Man, oh man. All right, so Kale says he's got a different one, and then we can, we could jump out of here. But man, that was cool. There was a bunch of ones I didn't even think of. That's why,
Yeah.
and that's why I did more than 5, AJ, and I think Steve did too, because I realized,
Yeah,
like,
I just started writing. I was just like, like this one's good too. This one's good. This one's good. This one's
Yep.
good.
Discuss. Joseph Friend says Mad Max 2. I've never seen it. I've never seen a
I know,
second of any of the Mad Max movies.
Yeah, Steel Brony mentioned that a little bit ago too. So
Oh.
I think I might have watched the first Mad Max movie, but I really don't remember it.
I have not
Yeah, I've
seen
seen
any
bits
of
and
them.
pieces, but I did watch Fury Road because that one, got all the hype and everything. It's entertaining, but I feel like maybe I would have appreciated it more if I'd seen the other ones first. Because
Okay.
I didn't understand the world or anything, and it's just really weird.
Kale
It's a
McLeish.
weird movie.
for Brian, my co-host on my other show, Crocodile Dundee 2.
That's not a knife.
That is annoying.
Yet another sequel that ends up in New York.
Yep.
Everybody goes to New York.
Yep.
That
At some
city's been-
point, everybody ends up there.
Oh my god, man, we got some good ones in here.
Babe 2, Pig in the City. There you go.
That movie made me cry. What?
Starring Cad Babe.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh my god,
And
yeah,
that's how you exit a show, everybody.
yeah. Well,
Call
that
back.
was So yeah, thanks everyone for checking out the show. We appreciate you guys jumping into the chat and giving us your opinions and stuff like that. Again, there were some real crap suggestions, no offense, but I'm sure you guys did not agree with us at all on a few of them, so that's good.
Right.
So you guys have a WTF Friday to promote. Am I correct in saying that? Isn't
That
it
is
next
correct.
I do believe so, yes.
Friday, March 25th?
Mm-hmm.
Do we have a topic yet? Do you guys have a topic yet?
We are still settling on it because Steve is working on something over there that might be the show, but it all depends on if it gets set up in time. Is that correct, Steve? Am I
It's
spoiling anything there?
It's a little empty back there, so I don't know. It's a little empty back there right now.
Yeah, he's building a little like new corner of the studio, and if it's ready to go, then that we have our content all set. If not,
Right.
then we've got a few things on dock. We might do the Visions watch along and finish that series up.
Yeah.
We might do some sort of like Star Wars game stream because I've got the Super Nintendo Star Wars games all queued up and ready to go.
Oh, okay,
All
all
right.
right.
Might do some other
Yeah.
sort of watch along. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we will figure this out within at least a week's time. So have a couple days heads up just to know what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I will be doing one of my own, as I said. Me and my buddy Jonah are going to drink some bourbon and talk some Tron. I just got to get him to nail down a date because he plays a lot of shows. So I got to find a Friday night when he's available to, fire up his webcam in his studio and start nerding out. So, but I'll be doing that. And, it'll be interesting because he loves Tron Legacy, and I can just pontificate about that. But he has not seen the first one a lot, so it's basically going to be his kind of like a reaction to it. So that should be cool. But yeah, thanks everybody in the chat for checking out another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. Joseph Wren, Steel Brony, Kale McLeish, our cousin Chris. Thank you guys very much. KXM. It was great seeing you guys. We are right back here in 2 weeks. What will the date be on that one? It'll be the 23rd. No. It'll be the 30th. Excuse me.
Yep, 30.
Sorry.
Mhm.
So it'll be Wednesday, March 30th at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. So come hang out with us, jump in the chat, be a part of the show as the guys did tonight. Don't forget, we are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. And go get some customizable Nerf Herder Council swag at shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. And if you are watching on YouTube, either live or on the replay, please remember to click that like and subscribe button so that you get notified every time we go live with either a regular episode or a WTF Friday show. So until next time, I am your host, JT at Dog Pound Jedi. He is AJ.
At Drake Adams 579.
He is Steve.
At Nerfurger Steve.
And we will catch you next time.